What up, doomers, gooners, and the one blue wave emoji AI guy following me on Twitter who's having one hell of a really bad week right now. Guys, pull the gun out of your mouth, put those immigration papers aside, and don't worry about the dark and violent world that awaits. It's already here. This is Super Despair World, the only, God help us, ray of hope we have left to cling to in these troubled times, entering our second motherfucking year. Sorry to keep you guys waiting. We tried to make this one like a real big special, like, ooh, 1 year anniversary special or whatever, with a guest appearance and everything. I tried to reach out to the Insane Clown Posse, and they did not appreciate the Insano-style package I left outside Violent J's home.
Yeah, well, they failed us, for number one, so...
We were counting on those guys to come out and fuck things up, and, I mean, something did get fucked up, but not in the way we would have liked.
Yeah. Way to go, Juggalos. I had high hopes for you, but
yeah, we will not be attending the gathering this year just out of spite for how much you guys fucked up. Sorry.
No. Do better next time.
Yeah, do better, Sweaty, and maybe listen and learn when a woman is speaking.
Yeah.
Speaking of listening and learning, we've got a very exciting show for you guys. If you're like new to the show, welcome. This is our second year. This is a little show we do about, just like being curious about the world and weird people in it and learning to thug it out in bad times. And man, there are some bad times coming. So let's get in on there. If you guys want to support the show, there's a fun couple ways to do that, and you'll get something for it.
Yeah. So first and foremost, we have a Patreon. And that's patreon.com/superdespairworld, where you can sign up for a sinister $6 and get access to our bonus episodes. I think we're up to 14 or 15 right now, and they are all bangers. And you can also join Project $20, where you will get 2 incredibly fresh stickers every month, featuring some of the best of episode art that we've done so far. And by we, I mean Briar. I just say that's fucking dope whenever she sends me the proofs for them. But I
do the art, and you handle the bullshit printing process with some very colorful characters.
Yeah, exactly. So and on that note, as a very special announcement, for our introductory sticker run, we are going to send everyone who has been signed up for the Patreon in October a complimentary pair of stickers. So if you are interested in that and you have been a Sinister Six sweetie in October, email me at dave@superdespairworld.com with your address and anything else you might want me to know, your social security number, bank account details, whatever. I mean, it's up to you. I'm not going to say no to that. And I'll send you some stickers. That's it. That's it, and that's all. And we have a bunch more coming on order, and anybody who joins the Project $20 tier this month will get them at the end of the month as well. So yeah, rock on, do that. And also we have a Discord, hop in there, a bunch of cool people. Just do that. There's a link somewhere, you'll find it.
I'm really excited for the sticker run for November, so check it out. It's got at least one of the episode covers that everybody tells me is like their favorite one. It's the one of Murat just chilling by the very pastel colored fantastical lake or whatever. And then the other sticker this month is going to be the one of us fucking up some very caricatured people of a certain fan base on the internet. A little bit of a heaven and hell thing going on with the theme this month. So I mean, I guess that's fitting for what month this is. But
yeah, for sure. And yeah, we planned this out in advance, by the way. So, but it just happens to be fitting. The Marat Lo-Fi one is definitely one of, if not my favorites, and the other one is also an absolute banger and a favorite of a lot of people. So get in there, get involved, and do some grassroots support. That's the only way we can all survive in this world. Yeehaw!
Yeah, survival. Why would we be concerned about that at a moment like right now?
Who could wonder?
Yeah, so guys, I was thinking, okay, this is our first episode post-election, and I'm sorry with the way our recording schedule works. I know this is it's gonna be like a week or two post the actual election results, so hopefully everybody's had time to like process their feelings and maybe learn to cope with it a little bit, but if not, that's the theme of today's show. Normally we're not like super big on like current events or like political things. I don't really consider us to be like serious political commentators, even though we do have like our strong opinions on some things or whatever, but I feel like everybody's going through it right now. I think I don't know. Is it right to say that the results were a bit of an upset? I think I don't know. Like, it was always a possibility, but I feel like I didn't think things would be that bad.
Winning the electoral vote on top, I thought it would just like come down to a couple swing states, as it always does, and possibly be an unfortunate result. But like, Republicans winning the popular vote, man, y'all fucked up with this one. Gee,
I was totally expecting like a 51-49 kind of result in like either direction, and I think that would have been kind of expected, but I don't know. I thought maybe to start off today we could talk about what we predicted would happen, and spoiler, I guess we were wrong, and we can own up to that, and just figure out like why did this happen? How did we get here? Dave, do you have any theories to start us off?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that's kind of what it's all about here is. Like we predicted, like it's gonna be spicy, but I think in the end they'll pull it out, because at the end of the day, being rational wins out and over just like insane brain rot. But
I was like cautiously optimistic for Kamala for the last couple of weeks. I know I brought it up several times, so like I don't know. I guess I'm eating those words now.
But this like we can extend that to the DNC and how they think, where they always seem to think that in like to us in a much lesser extent is just like I mean, like, yeah, we see a lot of craziness, but I think most people are just like not that dumb. Like they wouldn't do that. And the Democratic Party like is so fucking out of touch with like normal people, because they just surround themselves with like weird DC Capitol Hill wonks all day, and just like gated community liberals whose biggest pressing issue is like something they heard on the news 6 years ago that doesn't really actually affect them. So like they're just like, oh yeah, everything's fine, and people will listen to this reasonable thing, and like this thing we should focus on the most now is banning like assault weapons, because that's something that somebody who can't afford rent really cares about. And then they lose, as they often do, and then they're like, I forget, how could this have happened?
I forget his name, because I'm not American, but I think this was like a couple years ago. There was this like Democrat guy, I think Beto O'Rourke in like Texas whatever, who I remember he was like running for, I forget if it was like senator or governor or whatever, one of those races, some big important like role in Texas or whatever. And normally like, okay, Texas is like kind of a write-off, like it's kind of getting a bit more blue, but it's like solid red territory or whatever. And I remember at the time I was like, oh wow, he seems like relatively down to earth. It seems like he's doing a pretty good campaign or something. It seems like people in Texas actually kind of like him. And then he just like decided to like shift gears and make his campaign all about banning certain types of guns in Texas. Like, oh my God, you were.
What are you like? Who is telling you this is a good idea? Whether you think it is or not, like, do you this? And that's a problem with the Democratic Party is they are allergic to winning. They are allergic to winning.
Not only are they allergic to winning, but I think this has been the perception for a long time, because I genuinely remember watching The Simpsons when I was a kid, and they had this like little gag about the Democrat and Republican convention or whatever, and above the Democrats they had this sign. It was like, "We can't govern. We hate life and ourselves." I'm like, yeah.
True.
I think the Republican one was like, we're just pure evil. We want what's worst for everybody, which is also accurate even like 20 or 30 years later. So that's where we're at.
and that's weird that like the sentiment of like most people in this country is just like shitty and also shitty. But we just kind of like bend over and take it because we feel completely powerless. And it's just like, well, that fucking sucks, but that's the way it is. So I guess I vote for the slightly shittier party, or the one that like that has better vibes, or just like, I don't know, maybe I just won't even vote.
Yeah, you know, I had this whole prediction and like a whole reasoning behind it. I'm pretty sure I brought it up on the show a couple episodes ago, where what I was thinking was, okay, I thought Kamala was probably going to win, because in my head I was like, okay, I think the American people are kind of tired of like stagnation. I think people trend towards wanting something different, wanting something that's like a change or whatever. And by bringing her into the race, I was like, okay, she kind of stood apart from like Biden and Trump, who are both like very old, kind of like dementia-addled dudes who have been like in the public eye for like a very long time. You know, Biden both as like VP and president, Trump just because he's like a fucking loudmouth or whatever and did like some TV shows or some shit. I think he had some other job, who knows. And I was like, okay, people are tired of these. Kamala seems like young and different or whatever. And I thought, okay, maybe that'll just be enough to carry her over the finish line. And obviously I was wrong about this, but I do think a bit of my reason, there's a bit of truth in my reasoning here. And I do think people are tired of something. And the thing that they ended up being tired of is the whole like brand of the fucking Democrat Party or whatever, because I don't really want to. It's not even that I don't want to. I sincerely don't really actually believe that like 2/3 of the country or whatever just decided like, hey, fuck minorities and fuck women and all that stuff like overnight or something. I genuinely think a lot of people, even who vote for Trump, don't really give a shit about a lot of that stuff. And like, obviously, you know, if you're like me or whatever and you're on the receiving end of like a lot of prejudices or whatever, I think it's very easy to like internalize that and grow like very suspicious of like strangers and like doubtful of the goodness in other people. But no, I feel like somebody I was listening to recently put it very well about like what we're seeing here is the working class of America, as diverse and large as it is, has like given up on the Democrat Party because like they just have no faith in their ability to like pull people out of these bad times. Like there's a whole feeling of like, everybody says, oh, the economy is like really bad right now. I can't afford groceries. My wages aren't going up or whatever. And then you'll have some like fucking DC wonk like pull out some charts and go like, oh, well, actually, according to the graph, things are actually really, really good right now. But like that's fucking out of touch. That doesn't mean anything to like 99% of people. So I do think people did vote for something different. They wanted to go back to the Trump's fucking bull in the China shop approach, because I think, for better or worse, people want a narrative that things are going to get better, that there are clear like good guys and bad guys, and that there's somebody who's going to fight for them. And like the Dems just don't have that. They don't have any fight in them, and I don't know if they ever did.
Yeah. And I mean, how disrespectful is it for somebody who can like barely afford to like feed their family or barely make rent or whatever to just be like, well, actually, you're wrong. If you look, the NASDAQ has seen a 2% increase over the past 5 years. Like, The fuck does it have to do with me, motherfucker?
You fundamentally cannot argue with people's lived experiences or whatever. Not to get too personal or something, but I know, like in my own family, I have family members who were like big into the anti-vax bullshit, and like I know that there's no amount of like facts or reasoning or whatever I could ever present to them to shake them out of it. I know, like in the case of like my mom or whatever, my dad passed away of like terminal cancer like a few months before COVID broke out. So like her headspace was already deep in this feeling of like, well, the medical institution could have cured my husband but chose not to. So I'm just not going to trust anything doctors say ever again. And then COVID happened, and I'm like, I'm sorry, like what the fuck am I supposed to do? I can't argue her out of that position. And I think for a lot of people it's the same. Either this feeling of like, well, things were better under Trump, so I'm going back to him, not knowing like the actual reasons why it was better or worse back then, or this other feeling people have of like, well, they say the economy is doing well, but I'm not seeing any returns on that in like my day-to-day life, which is very correct. And like you can't shake people out of the narratives that they build their life and worldview around, even if they're like correct or incorrect or whatever. Like the facts don't matter, for better or worse.
Yeah. No, for sure. And it's all of this shit is so fucking nebulous. It's like just the libertarian ideal of like, oh, if you don't, the reason everything's so expensive is because corporations get taxed. So if we just like have no rules, everything will be cheaper, which obviously not true. And then you have Democrats who are like, oh, well, there's people are broke. Well, here's a response to that. We're going to roll out a plan over the next 10 years where if you are a person of color who makes between $33,000 and $71,000 a year, you can apply for a grant where you pay 47% less tax if you open up a business within the confines of these, and you have to fill out like 700 forms, and you'll probably get denied. But this is it. We solved poverty, everybody. We did it, Reddit.
Yeah, the thing like for Dems and like liberals at large is like when they look at issues of like poverty or whatever, it's not about this feeling of like, well, poverty is like a fundamental like stain on human life. It's like an indignity. It's like people should not live like this for any reason or whatever. And it's not like, okay, they don't see it as this thing that we need to alleviate people of at whatever capacity we can. For them, it's more like, well, some people deserve one thing and other people deserve another, and everybody has to work for this thing. So we'll give people the opportunity to work, and we'll means test things so that we never take the risk that somebody will get slightly more than whatever we believe they deserve. And I think this whole like impersonal kind of like bureaucratic view of the world, I think on some level it just disgusts like the American people and like good people just like around the world at large. And I think this election is probably like a breaking point. I don't know how the Dems can like salvage their entire party at all without like a fundamental rebrand to get over this like fucking brainworm that infects them at the highest levels.
Right. Well, I mean, this is kind of a both sides thing where the fundamental thing here is whether you're like a conservative or liberal or whatever, you cannot fundamentally upend the foundations of capitalism. Like they're both on board with that. But so you have to uphold this myth of meritocracy somehow. And with conservatives, it's more of a punching down thing where it's just like, hey, there's these lazy fucking losers and they want handouts, and do you work for your living? Why are you giving it to them? Let's deport them motherfuckers.
Yeah, it's a very tribal thing. It's about like your sex and your race and your religion and very, very big things like that.
Exactly. And then and Democrats are like, yeah, you if you're poor, it means you didn't work hard enough, which is the exact same narrative, but we'll give you equal opportunity somehow, and it'll be through this bill where like you can get $3,000 a year to go to college or something, even though tuition is fucking $40,000 or something like that. And it's like,
yeah,
well, what's your excuse? You could have filled out 75 pieces of paperwork and submitted it to like the most underfunded and shitty like government office with a bunch of incompetent people just to get it like denied because you filled out the date in the wrong format.
Yeah, find time in your busy work week to do all that paperwork and fill it out. We don't care that you have like bills to pay and like work to do.
My mom worked 7 jobs to supported us, and now I'm a Democratic U.S. Senator. So our nation is founded on ingenuity and hard work. So basically, what's your fucking excuse? Which is what they both come down to.
I feel like this was like a whole genre of like news headlines you saw for like a time period. I don't know if they still run these, probably, because like paper printing press whatever bullshit is not very good these days. But it was this headline of like heartwarming stories where the headline would be something like, oh, kid gets job at Amazon factory to pay for like mom's terminal cancer treatment or whatever. Oh, look at this little kid working so hard. Oh, he really loves his mom. It's like, wow,
and there's a bunch of boomers in the comments like just saying the most vile shit, like, good for this kid to take agency over their life. Everybody these days is fucking lazy, and 8-year-olds aren't willing to like go work in the mines to bring in another dollar. In my day, people did that, and now people think that a kid should go to school when really they should be hustling.
Yeah, I know. It's like, it's so easy for us to just say something off the cuff like, oh, Democrats hate poor people. But I do think this is a whole attitude that I see in a lot of like liberals and even left-leaning people at large, where I think, you know, if you hang out with like relatively like a metropolitan sort of crowd, like if most people you know like have a college degree or just like went to college or something, maybe they got like an education like the humanities or like liberal sciences or whatever and stuff like that, you surround yourself with people who are like educated and worldly, and they've had time to like and like an environment to like unpack their different prejudices or whatever and be like, yeah, racism is bad. Oh, I know we shouldn't call people the blacks anymore or something like that, or like, oh, I use all the correct neo pronouns or something like that. It's like, okay, good for those people. But then they look at like everybody who has like not had that same thing. They look at people who like come from like a poorer background, who like maybe they just say some ignorant shit like every now and then, or like maybe, I don't know, maybe they still use like the R slur or something. And I guess, you know, it's not nice to say, but you know, I don't really think it's a big deal. I know people who say it and I don't think they're like fundamentally like evil or broken people or something like that. But it's like, I don't know. I think like a lot of liberals and left-leaning people will look at like, okay, well, I have the very like morally correct and completely perfect, upstanding, like socially progressive worldviews or whatever, because I'm educated and I worked for it and all these things. But everybody else who hasn't like worked towards my same conclusions, it's because they're just like fundamentally backwards and ignorant, and we can't do anything, and like fuck these like poor states. I don't care if a hurricane just rolled through, just let those people in Appalachia suffer or whatever. And you know, it's like I don't know, it's just a very like disgusting sort of way to look at the world. And I want to say, like, it's not just liberals. A lot of people on quote our side, whatever that is, are also guilty of the same mentality, and it's kind of gross.
Without question. And liberals be like, I used to lock the door when I saw a black person walk across the street, and now they're like, I lock the door when a person of color walks across the street. But to your point, actually,
I opened the door and I sat down and I listened and learned, and then I closed it because she scared me.
and I locked it and I called the police.
Exactly.
She's probably on crack. She looks dangerous. She might have a weapon.
Suspect is a person of woman of color. I'm sorry. Let's go on.
Yeah. So I mean, it's kind of a tired point, but to your point there, like if you really talk to a lot of these people, this straw man that a lot of like liberal or progressive people create in their mind of just like some like toothless hick in West Virginia. If you hang out with this person for a while, most of these people, you will have way more in common with them than some like gated community, DC ultra educated Dartmouth liberal like politician who's like scolding Republicans for not being like compassionate enough because they didn't pass a bill that like makes like 1% more food stamps or whatever. And yeah, like I mean this kind of comes back to the takeaway with this is with this whole election and everything is like kind of we need to, and again this is such a trite like talking point, and most people really miss the mark on what this actually means, but we do need to kind of like coalesce a little bit as just normal people instead of letting just a bunch of like ivory tower motherfuckers like dick us around back and forth and pit us against each other. This is not like some big brain shit that I came up with. Like we all know this. The real question is like, how do we actually do this? Because I know a lot of people are fucking pissed off right now, and for good reason. And it's easy to get mad at the image of Cletus that you made in your mind, or like dumb white trash Ohio swing state voter, or whatever you wanna call these people. But like that's not actually really the problem. It's the fucking Democratic Party at the end of the day.
And I feel like a lot of people, even like people on the left or whatever, who are like, I hate liberals, oh fuck the Democrats or whatever, even them, I feel like they kind of like step back and like sit down and kind of like sit on their hands or whatever whenever the Dems are in office. And I think it's because like a lot of people, and I think this is just like a fact of life for like living in a relatively liberal society while we have it. That might change in the next few months, but yeah, this whole feeling of like, okay, the right people are in charge, so things are gonna be fine. But it's like, no, it's not just that the Democrats are like incompetent, or like, oh, they mean well but they don't know how to do the job or something, or like, oh, they're just out of touch, but they're good people at heart. And it's like, no, I think a lot of people are coming around this feeling that there's something like dark and fucked up and kind of like contemptuous about the way like leaders in the Democrat Party like look at the world, and like their support for like genocide or whatever, and their like contempt for poor people, and their like unwillingness to like make life easier for anybody who hasn't jumped through all the hoops to deserve it or whatever. And I think people are just kind of sickened by it overall. I know you haven't gone through the game Disco Elysium yet, but there's some really good stuff in there. There's a little bit of a long quote I want to read that kind of sums up this feeling of like malaise towards liberalism and what it represents. And I think it might really resonate with some people.
Oh hell yeah, do it.
So I'm gonna like cut this a little bit for length, and I'm also gonna adjust some things because Disco Elysium takes place in a fictional world. They call the ideology moralism in there, but it's basically just like a 1-to-1 with like liberal democracy, basic bitch kind of centrist ideas or whatever. So I'll adjust some terms, but the quote goes, those guys, the liberals, are signal blue, and they're not only good, they're also powerful. What will it be like once their nuanced plans have been realized? The kingdom of conscience will be exactly as it is now. Liberals don't really have beliefs. Sometimes they stumble on one, like a child's toy left behind on the carpet. The toy must be put away immediately, and the child reprimanded. Centrism isn't change, not even incremental change. It is control over yourself and the world. Exercise it. Look up at the sky, at the dark shapes of coalition airships hanging there. Ask yourself, is there something sinister in liberalism? And then answer, no. God is in his heaven. Everything is normal on earth.
Banger.
Yeah. Yeah, this is just, guys, you gotta play Disco Elysium. It's so fucking good. And I know it's really good because I looked up the Disco Elysium wiki, and a lot of the popular pages right now are the quotes having to do with like, oh, times are really fucking bad. So I think a lot of people are have it on their mind.
Oh man, well yeah, maybe this is my onus to actually play it through this time.
It's so good. I've been really tempted to do like a little stream for the Super Despair World audience where I sit down and suffer and force myself to do the fascist playthrough of that game and say the racist things to the nice characters.
No, not to Kim Katsuragi.
Oh, it's gonna hurt, but I gotta do it. I have been told that some of the funniest shit in the entire game is like behind the fascist route, and people just never see it because they don't have the heart to do that.
Yeah, I get that. It's hard to torture characters that you've come to know and love.
Yeah. I wanted to say one thing about the quote that I read in particular. The thing that really sticks out to me the most is liberals don't really have beliefs. Sometimes they stumble on one like a child's toy left behind on the carpet. The toy must be put away immediately and the child reprimanded. And I feel like this really kind of speaks true to this feeling of like, whenever you like put forward like a progressive idea or something, or not even, it doesn't even have to be left leaning. Whenever you try to address something about like, wow, times are really hard, we should like help people so they suffer less. A lot of like liberals and like DNC people, they'll like talk down to you about like, oh, shut the fuck up, you stupid, like entitled, like ivory tower educated child. You don't know better. The adults are in the room. We can't just give people nice things. We have to uphold all these like little systems and the nuances and these complicated things, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, at the end of the day, I don't think it's actually like, oh, liberals are really smart and they have these things figured out and they have like a complex grasp of a difficult to understand system. I do think it is just about control. I do think it's just about like, no, we need to put aside our feelings. We can't govern emotionally. We can't actually care about like real people. We can't see things from the lens of like real fucking humans. We just have to treat politics like this machine, and we have to have the right people in charge of the machine, and we can never question like, what is the machine doing, or like what is his purpose? No, we just have to have the right person in the seat. And like it got us here. It's not enough, guys.
You know what this sounds exactly like? And I'm not saying this to meme. This is Reddit. This is like a society of Reddit.
Yeah, in a lot of ways,
yeah.
I think like, I don't know, there's some shared DNA between like all the worst like internet janitors that have ever existed, and like internet forum mods and Reddit leaders and whatever.
And
like
you
the
can
DNC.
see this, yeah, and you can see this with the stereotypical Redditor of like, where just people be having a conversation, somebody has to hop in and just be like, actually that's illegal. You can't do that.
I just downvoted your comment. Frequently asked questions.
There are rules. There's no nuance to these rules, by the way, even though this is rationally as a human being's correct. Like, actually, we need to remove this because there are rules here, and that's illegal.
You walk into the wrong subreddit and you just like make a thread asking a simple question, and it's like immediately within like 3 seconds locked, and some mod is telling you like, sigh, please check the pinned thread. Oh, we don't want to deal with this, blah blah blah. We deal with this post 10 times a day. Like, wow, I'm sorry, Pumpkin, that must be really hard for you to deal with.
Yeah, and it's a different kind of thing than like the cop mentality, where like the cop mentality is like they're looking to fuck with somebody, and they just have an excuse now to fuck with somebody. Well, these people are different. They're different. They don't necessarily want to fuck with somebody. They just like want to uphold rules, which is really weird. And like the point of rules is to, make things not fucking chaos or whatever. They don't care about that. They care about the rules in and of themselves, and that's it.
Yeah,
That's
it's not about like
Yeah.
it's not the end result of the rules. It's that there's a system of rules in place, so that makes me feel better. I feel like anarchy has been held at bay. The lawlessness of the human condition has been successfully suppressed for another 5 minutes. You know?
Yeah, and this is like, for anybody who's seen Better Call Saul, this is like Chuck. This is like Chuck is that type of person.
Absolutely.
Completely just ruled by this like this onus of like just having to control things, in the only like way that they can control things, because people like that can't really like relate to regular humans. They can't really function in normal society with like normal regular people who are just like just fucking fine.
Yeah, their entire brain is geared towards like a very like isolated and specific system of control where they're in charge of it and they have to like operate the machine, you know.
Exactly. Everything has to be codified into like a 90 million page handbook where you can reference this to deal with anything. You can't just do things off the cuff. You can't just say, well, obviously, this is a thing we should do. No. You have to consult the rule book.
I mean, that's the stinger of the quote I read, right? God is in his heaven. Everything is normal on earth.
And that's exactly it. And I think this is a thing of just like authoritarianism in general, and I'm not just going to say like authoritarianism as in Trump's fascism or Hitler or whatever, but like there's a sense of authoritarianism in this like worshipping of like neoliberal ideology, where it's just like at the end of the day, for a lot of people, it's really hard and really stressful to make decisions all the time. People want. I really think that a lot of people, they just have like a baby mindset, and they just can't grow up in the sense that they need mommy and daddy to tell them what to do all the time. They have to defer to mommy and daddy. They're not okay with this blank slate, with this open world where you can like make decisions and stuff. Like that's too much and it's too scary. I want, it's like the PragerU thing. I want mommy. I want milk.
Yeah, exactly. I think for a lot of people, it's this sense of like, I don't know. The whole thing is just a mess. There's a really bleak headline I saw in the last couple days. I'm sure you saw this too. It was something about like a lot of people saw a lot of people's Google searches spiked. Is Joe Biden still running or something like on election night? And I'm like, man, there was a really good analogy I had explained to me once about people who like, okay, it was the analogy was trying to make sense of like, why is like the median voter such a dumb fucking like ignorant piece of shit? And like, I stand by that. I do think they're the dumbest people on earth, the people who are like undecided until like 5 minutes before like showing up to the polls or something. And the analogy was basically like, there's a big swath of the population for whom like exercising their civic duty and like voting on anything at all, they see it kind of like doing the laundry, right? Like it's a chore, it's labor, it's not fun. Nobody really likes to do the laundry that much, but like you kind of have to do it. So like they shrug and they put on their shoes and they go to the polling place, and it's like, well, I guess like deciding at the last minute, even though I don't really have any like stake in this or any opinion on either candidate, I have to do this. This is my obligation, so I'm just gonna fuck it. I guess Trump. Why not? Who cares? And that's how a lot of people do it. It's completely vibes based, and like obviously, like in the U.S., I don't really like how the way the electoral college works. It basically comes down to like 5,000 of those fucking assholes in like Pennsylvania or something deciding the outcome of every election. But I guess this time it didn't really come down to that, because like we said, it was not a very 49-51 sort of result. No, Trump swept the fucking board this time, and I think maybe this is a good pivot point to the next part of the show. I wanted to talk a little bit about some people's responses to the news. Let's get into people's reactions to this.
Yeah. So what have you been seeing?
So I know one of these things, I know you really want to talk about this, so I'll cover the other one. I've seen a lot of people talk about this story about like, oh, there are still like millions, tens of millions of uncounted votes. Oh, they rigged the polls. Oh, Elon Musk bought Twitter to misdirect everybody, blah blah blah. Oh, he like actually rigged the election. They're like burning down like boxes full of people's ballots or things like that. And, you know, some of these things are definitely true. Like, you should stay off of X.com, the everything app, because it's like basically like a white supremacist website. And like
Correct.
now, especially like in the wake of election night, I don't know why people are still scrolling there to like get people's reactions. Like, no, guys, the well is tainted. Do not bother. But I think a lot of people are coping right now, and it does feel, I'm sure it feels like a very like satisfying, like I told you so kind of moment for like conservatives in particular. Now seeing all the like blue wave, like fucking DNC shill sort of people go like, they cheated, it rigged, no, recount now, stop the count, recount everything. It's like, okay. Liberals worked themselves up into a frenzy for years saying that Republicans cannot accept the results of the election, and here we are having every like fucking wine mom in Pennsylvania complain about like, no, that wasn't fair, we need to have an entire new election immediately. Like, guys, calm down. I've even seen some people that like some of my friends and mutuals like buy into this, and like, no, there wasn't any like significant tomfoolery like this time around. The Dems just got blown the fuck out. That's just what happened, and we have to like accept that, and we can only move forward if we like take this like factual thing that happened into like our accounting of what to do next.
Yeah, and it's so hypocritical too. That when Trump did that, and when all the deranged people on X.com did that, they're all like, they're trying to undermine democracy. They just cope. You just can't handle it. And then now Trump wins, and they're like, how could this have happened? It must be stop the steal. It's like, you're doing the same thing. You're doing the same thing.
It's exactly the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah, like guys, I just want to make this very clear right now. I know it sucks. It's over. It's over. There's not going to be any recounts. There's not going to be a zillion ballots that got found in like a swamp in Pennsylvania. It's over.
It's not going to be like the time when Joe Biden was elected. And if I remember right, there were like 2 or 3 whole days where they were like still counting and recounting some states, because it was like it came down really close. And I think a lot of people have correctly theorized like, man, if it wasn't for COVID, Trump probably just would have like won in 2020 as well, like outright, completely. Yeah. And like, I don't know. I think I'm starting to see that.
Yeah, for sure, and that's kind of the thing. Is like when the election happened, I didn't expect to know, but I mean, we knew by what, like Eastern time, like midnight, like it was locked in. Yeah, usually this shit takes until you got to find out in the morning or the afternoon the next day.
Yeah, I know we were in a VC with some of our friends just like commiserating about the election or whatever. And I think I was only in that voice call for what, like 4 or 5 hours before it was like basically like fucking donezo. So,
yeah, exactly.
If anything, I kind of appreciate that. I so much prefer the like comfortable like knowing, oh, we just got fucking owned, rather than this like drawn out like, no guys, there's still a chance, oh, Bernie can still win this or whatever, you know.
Yeah, there's still 17 uncounted votes in West Virginia.
And also,
might flip blue this time.
Also, sorry, I want to immediately correct something I just said. I don't want to say we got owned, because you know what? At the end of the day, I look at somebody like fucking like Kamala Harris. I'm like, this person's politics don't fucking represent me. You know what?
Yeah.
I think if there's any silver lining to this, you know what? I hate the liberals too. I think, I don't know, maybe this is a good opportunity to like rub their nose in the shit. And like I use that analogy because it's like, okay, you're like training a dog or something, but like I don't expect them to actually learn from this. I think the Democrat Party either needs to like collapse or completely rebrand, and I think they're probably not going to do that. So, but either way, I don't know. Maybe it just feels good to get it out. Maybe it feels good to like yell at some of these fucking like wonk assholes who thought they had it, who they think they had it on lock or something. And I don't know. I'm in the mood to rub people's nose in the shit.
I feel that for sure. I mean, we've been critical before about like some like internet lefties poisoning the well and shit like that. Even though like I do share your sentiment about the Democratic Party, but I mean my whole philosophy on this was like I get it. I fucking hate liberals, and the DNC is like just they fucking suck and they're incredibly frustrating. But like, let's just focus on just making the GOP irrelevant, and then we can either push the Democratic Party farther to the left, or make a new party that's either even farther to the left of them that has some relevance. But now I'm like, no, dissolve both of these fucking parties, man. They don't represent anybody except for the most deranged or most like just like neutered motherfuckers on the planet. No offense to any puppy girls who've been neutered recently.
Yeah, sorry. We love you. We love you, ladies. It's like I hear what you said about the thing about like, oh, okay, let's just make the GOP irrelevant first and then deal with the DNC. But it's like, now I see the error in that way of thinking, which is like, no, we're not gonna make the GOP irrelevant. The Dems have no fucking like capability to do this, even if they wanted to, which I strongly believe they don't. There's a quote going around about Joe Biden saying like a few months ago, America needs a strong Republican Party. Well, you know what? You got it, motherfucker. So like now let's fucking sit on that.
And Kamala trying to like I'm gonna have a Republican in my cabinet. It's like,
so are they, to like 10 times more.
Yeah, well, fuck you. And people like, oh, people think she's weak because she's a woman. No, I mean some people do. I'm not going to, as a quick aside, I'm not going to discount that there's like there's definitely a non-zero amount of like swing state voters that didn't vote for her because she's like a woman and like not white. I will not discount that.
I also want, I think my overall take on that, and I'm sure we'll have many conversations in the near future about like misogyny and racism and all those things. Those are definitely factors. I will even say they were like not insignificant factors, but I do think the overall I don't think they were the main reason. I think the main reason is people just like realize, oh, the Dems have fucking like contempt for regular people, and they wanted to stick it to them. And like facts being like correct or incorrect, whatever, it doesn't matter. The Trump and the GOP are saying, hey, we will make the country great again, we will fix things. It's like, okay, this message resonates more with people than fucking everything is fine, we just need more women working at Raytheon or whatever. You know,
I mean, I'm truly surprised that Brat Summer didn't make people Pokemon go to the polls. Like that surprises me. But but I guess it didn't.
Maybe you should hawk a ballot straight to a polling box.
Cool, guys. Well, yeah, the 23-year-old marketing intern from DC like kind of fucked this one up. But like, it's cool. Next time, just get next time just do the same exact thing, and be surprised when you lose. 'Cause I know that's what you're gonna do. So that's my That's my advice. And I'm just saying that so that I could get a 6-figure job to be the most useless fucking person on the planet.
Somewhere
most ineffective one.
Somewhere in a DC office building right now, there's like an intern like chained to the wall with a keyboard in front of them and like a mostly blank like Google Doc open, and all they've written down so far is like crowd sizes and like that's all they've got. Yeah.
And I mean, like, looking back, I'm not going to say I wasn't influenced by this kind of thing and saying like, oh, fuck yeah, things are looking good when you're talking about like crowd sizes and like there's a Trump rally where there's like not that many people and like Kamala's levying zingers about his crowd size. Fucking
I took it as
conservatives owned epic.
I took it as a relatively positive sign. This news about like, oh, people are leaving Trump's rallies early. Like I took that as like, oh, it seems like even his like most core supporters are getting tired of this. And I think the reality is more like, no, they've already made up their mind. They don't need to hear him say it at the same time. They've already decided they're gonna vote for the guy. You know?
Yeah, and they probably don't have like work from home email jobs. They have to wake up and like go to the factory in the morning. So,
I'm starting to think maybe they just went home early because they live in Tennessee and it's fucking hot outside in August. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I mean, like,
yeah,
all of the shit that we saw was fucking cope, and I am like absolutely guilty of the cope, absolutely guilty of the hype.
I took part in some of it too. I remember like, like she had the like goofy quote about, oh, did you just fall out of a coconut tree? We were all like coconut pilled for a while. I'm like, yeah. That was so stupid, man. I mean, like, it was fun. It was, like, in an ironic sort of way. Like, okay, I guess this is what we're doing now. Fuck it. We're all in on the coconut thing. But now it's over. So it's like, okay, Kamala doesn't fucking matter anymore, okay?
Yep. Yeah. Brat summer is over. It's now,
Brat summer is over. Now we're going to we're gonna move to Canada. How do you feel about that? Let's go to Canada now that we can't have Brat summer.
Okay, so I want to preface this by saying I understand this this reaction where you think like that's it's a bit of a tantrum in a way, and I'm not going to say that I've never done this. I mean, not recently, but in the past, where it's just like, oh, the fuck this country, I'm fucking get out of here, it's fucking shithole, like whatever, and like I'm just gonna escape to, I'm gonna run away, I'm gonna go move to Europe, and I'm gonna move to Canada or whatever, and I have a few things to say on that. Number one is somebody who has lived abroad for almost a decade. Have fun. Immigration, even if it's not like this kind of situation, even if you have a reason to be there and a reason for them to let you in, it is a fucking nightmare. Anybody who listens to this show who is not a citizen of the country that they currently live in and has to deal with immigration every 1 to 5 years, or hopefully less, or hopefully more, I mean, but y'all know what I'm talking about.
If we want to like hammer in on the thing I brought up earlier about like, oh, there's something kind of sinister about like liberal democracy, I think try immigrating fucking to any like first world country on earth. That's the sinister part of it.
Yes. If you want to know what a utopia of rules looks like, go be a citizen. Go live or work in another country for a while, and you will know exactly what the fuck I'm talking about.
Not only that, but it's also like fucking nakedly corrupt too, because almost every like nice country on earth is like, well, you have to jump through all these hoops for years, or if you have $3 million, we can get the paperwork done in like a week, you know.
Yeah. Or if you invest $500,000 in this country, or you could be a complete piece of fucking shit, but if you get married to one of our citizens, we'll just fucking walk you right through the door. Then it doesn't matter because we care more about like the blood of those, like the blood in the soil, then like you're like worth as a person, quote unquote. I mean, the word that
is true. That is true. But also that seems like the easiest way to get into a lot of countries. But even then, I know I haven't looked into this like specifically for myself, but I know there's a lot of really like sinister laws about there. Like we're gonna send somebody to check to make sure that you actually love this person, that it's a real relationship or something. I'm like, okay.
Yep, and it's based. And here's the thing about immigration offices too: it's all based on vibes. So I've had friends in Korea who married Korean women, and they were basically just like fucking boop boop, sign the paper. All right, cool, whatever. And they had to go through some shit to get their visa or their green card or whatever. But I knew a guy who married a Korean woman who was like 10 years older than him, which in Korea is like,
sounds like a big no-no.
Why would you do that? Am I right, fellas?
That doesn't sound very confusing.
Yeah. And they did the thing where they popped in on him like every once in a while, just to like, oh, you guys live together? How many beds are in? One bed. Okay. Well, we'll go.
What is her favorite takeout order?
All right, we're gonna need to see you actually penetrate her. And yeah. But yeah, so
yeah, they just have somebody sitting by the bed, and it's like, oh, she's faking it. Okay, you pass.
Right. So the other big thing I have to say about this is, where are you gonna go? Because I know your beautiful country of Canada is going through it right now.
Yeah,
politically.
Next year it's basically like all but guaranteed that the conservative party is going to take over, which is like governed by some like shitty little like Quebecois French man who's like very hateful and basically like Trump light. I've already made peace with it by telling myself like, well, at least once the conservatives are in charge, they'll probably like loosen up a lot of like fucking Trudeau's like bullshit ass like gun bans or something. So at least I'll be able to get strapped and deal with it.
Yeah. There you go. You'll at least have like a 50 cal mounted on the back here.
Oh, I'm gonna get myself one of those big like fuck off like cowboy Colt revolvers or something, because it's aesthetic, and I don't know. I just wanna be like a female like dirty hair. Like, make my day, you. I'm not gonna do the actual quote in them.
Yeah, you should yeah, some nice big leather bandoliers and like a dual pistol holster would go hard.
I've made this joke before about if we ever do like a hangout with a lot of my American friends. I've already decided I'm gonna get myself dressed up in the most tacky fucking like American flag button-up shirt with like an oversized like cowboy hat and like a tacky like belt buckle or something. I really want to appropriate the shit out of your culture if I ever go to the U.S.
Oh, absolutely, as you should. I've been looking at cars recently because I did actually sell mine since the last time we recorded. But now I'm thinking I kind of want like a 1990s Toyota with like a 50 cal on the back, just so me and my boys can ride around, just Mad Max style, Mogadishu style.
Oh yeah, you got to get the one that they use in all those like war zones in Africa or something, just like a fucking like SUV or something that they strap a machine gun to the back of.
yeah, because they're reliable vehicles, you know. That's why.
I mean, if it's good enough for a war zone, I'm sure it'll be good enough for America in like 3 months.
Yeah, so on top of that, I mean, like related to that is, well, and then besides Canada, like Europe, like that's Western Europe's not going very well as far as like not electing fascists and that type of shit. Are you gonna go to Asia? They've been on that tip for a while. A lot of places in Asia. So yeah, I mean, have fun there. And then also, I mean, like on top of that, cool. So they let you go. So they let you in. What are we gonna do? Everybody who's like progressive and like, I understand it. You have one life to live and you don't want to spend this like fighting the power and shit. But like, so we're all just gonna leave and just let the richest country in the world with the biggest military just like be 100% just like a bunch of fascists. Like, you think that's a good idea? You think on top of that not being terrible, just like fundamentally, like that's not going to affect you? I mean, we live in like a globalized society, guys. I know some of the online internet lefties think like the DPRK is cool because they like have closed borders and shit. But you're not escaping globalism. You're not escaping American hegemony. You're like, we kind of have to deal with this at home. And also, as somebody who lived abroad for a decade, I don't want to leave again, man. I'm fucking hanging out. I like, you should be,
for better or worse, I like my home. I like the little slice of the country that I live in. I think it's nice here. The rest of you guys, everybody else can fuck off. I'm staying, you know what I mean?
Right, exactly. And it's a bunch of people who've like never even gone on vacation abroad before saying like, I'm going to move to like Germany or something. No, you're fucking not. Shut up. Stop.
Yeah. Oh, I'm
really
sorry. Do you have
this?
do you have like an autism diagnosis? Are you disabled in any way? Can you speak another language? Do you have a college degree? If you answered no to, well, I guess I don't know. There's a lot of questions there, but there are so many fucking things that you have to jump through, because it's like, it turns out the way immigration works is they only want the most like capable, successful people who can generate wealth to move into the country. They don't want anybody else.
Yeah, even in these fucking liberal utopias that all these Redditors just like fucking fucking starry-eyed look at. Oh, Norway is so based because they have good schools and shit. It's like, they don't want you, bro. They don't want you. They're not going to let you in. Like, just fucking give up on that dream. Like, what do you have to offer them? It's the same. Well, it's not even the same as here. They're more strict in these other countries. I mean, that might change, by the way, but they're more strict in these other countries about letting people in than you think. And also, like, I don't think you want to uproot yourself and go somewhere. So, like, it's a mindset which is like a knee-jerk reaction which people don't really think through. And it's not only that, but I feel like when people like take these they go to these like drastic measures or something, it's like, I think they see the current problems as like temporary, and like, oh, life would be good if not just for this one thing. And like, no, it goes back to what I said about people sitting on their hands or whatever when, you know, the liberals are in control and it feels like everything is right and normal in the world. And it's like, no, I think this is like one of the fundamental truths of like the universe. This is something I've accepted for a long time, but I think a lot of people really need to wake up to this really soon, which is that in life, it's like, you either fight or you fucking die. You either like work for everything and like fucking tooth and claw and nail and do whatever you need to do to get it, and then you fight to keep it, and that's life. If you don't do that, you're lying down. You're gonna fucking die. That's just how it is. It doesn't matter if the Dems are in office and it's like a nice like charismatic chill president like Obama. I mean, you know, tell fucking kids in hospitals abroad that those were the good times or whatever, if you know what I mean. Right.
And it's like, okay, either it's like that or it's like bad times like what we're about to experience with Trump again. And like, it doesn't matter. The calculus is the same. There was never a choice to begin with. You fight or you die, and that's what people need to do. This is something I kind of brought up earlier with when I was looking at the Disco Elysium wiki. There was a very particular quote that I wanted to read, and this will be the last one. I only had two prepared for today.
Oh yeah. Let's do it. It's time for another one.
This is even longer, but I wanted to bring this up because, man, I feel like this really speaks to how things are going on. And I also saw a lot of people both on Twitter and Bluesky have been sharing this one. So a little bit of context, in Disco Elysium, you have this thing called the Thought Cabinet, where it's basically when you fulfill certain conditions, it'll be like, oh, your main character gets an idea in their head, and then you do something else to complete it, and then they get like an idea about it. It's like a problem and then a solution, and then you get like a little bonus for completing it. So this one is the precarious world, and I want to read both the problem and the solution. So to start off, the problem goes, seems like the point of this game is victory, the absence of defeat on all fronts. Victory is business ventures and creative undertakings. Victory in love and over other people. Political victory. Ideological victory. Hell, even sexual victory. Definitely a lot of object-based victories too, having things and not losing them. One problem though, not a lot of victors in sight. Everyone's mostly losing. Why is that? And how do you not lose? And then the solution, which you get later, is how to not lose? It's impossible not to. The world is balanced on the edge of a knife. It's a game of frayed nerves. You're pushed on by numbers and punitive measures, pain, rejection, and unpaid bills. You can either play, or you can crawl under a boat and waste away, turn into salt or a flock of seagulls. Your enemies would love that. Or you can fight. The only way to load the dice is to keep on fighting.
Hell yeah. I'm definitely playing. I'm definitely playing through this fucking.
This is so fucking good. There's like a fucking million of these too. It's such an intensely quotable piece of literature here. And again, this is the thing I really want to zoom in here is I've often used like analogies of like tabletop RPGs, and you do roll dice in Disco Elysium, by the way. But I've often used these analogies to get points across on the show. And I really love the ending line here. The only way to load the dice is to keep on fighting. Like that's the thing, right? Like everything you do in life, it's like basically a dice roll. And sometimes it's like very easy to succeed. Like, I don't know, get like 2 or more on a D20 roll or something like that.
Yeah.
And like we've had this like mindset of like, okay, we're doing this podcast, we do it, we've been doing it for a year now, we want to go places and do big things and whatever, and we have all these like dreams and goals and whatever, and okay, there's like a small chance that any given episode we put out will like blow up and get a lot of eyes on it and do really well. But you know what? Most of the time they don't. But you know what? Every time we put out an episode, we're rolling those dice again. And you know, that's just what we have to do here. Even if it seems like everything we're doing right now like doesn't really matter that much, or it doesn't have like a great chance of succeeding or something, you have to keep doing things. You have to keep making active choices and like exerting control over your life and trying your best to live on and to fight, because that's the only way you win. Nothing is guaranteed. Everything in life comes at like a heavy cost, and you're gonna have to, and it's not gonna just like be all Gucci and comfortable and whatever once you get it. You're gonna have to fight to keep it. And I think, you know, I'm seeing now all these years of having like Democrats in charge, and there were so many things that we got comfortable and thinking, oh, we'll just have this forever, we don't need to fight to keep this. And now like people are acting shocked when they see fucking people in the wake of the election like marching on college campuses holding signs that literally say women are property. Like, oh, they can't imagine somebody still thinks that in 2024 or whatever. It's like, no, this is the world we live in, and we have to deal with it, and we have to stay here, and we have to fight for the things that we want.
Yeah. Well said. And I have 2 points on that. The first one is when we're talking about rolling dice. I mean, if the odds of success for doing something is rolling a 1 on a D100, well, you just got to thug it out and roll it 100 times, and odds are you'll get it. And if not, you keep on going, and maybe you'll hit it the first time. Maybe you'll hit it the 50th time. Maybe it'll take 150, maybe 200. But eventually, you're gonna get that shit. And
I will say, I've been in like a consistent D&D campaign that's lasted about like a year and a half, and I will say, wow, it seems really crazy that somebody would roll like 20, like a natural 20 multiple times. But you know what? We've been playing for a fucking year now. It happens more often than you think. So it is what it is.
Yeah. So sometimes shit just lines up like that, and sometimes it doesn't. You just got to keep rolling. You got to keep rolling. You got to keep thugging it out. That's the takeaway with this one. And I know our boy Weasel was saying this a while ago. Fucking thug it out. And I think that's got to be that's better than Brat Summer. Let's just say thug it out instead of Brat Summer, guys.
Not just thug it out, but thug life, because this is it. We're thugging
thug
it out
life.
until we die.
Exactly. And then like the other thing I was gonna say on that note, and related to the quote as well, you know, like people are fundamentally lazy, myself included, and it would be so nice. It would be so nice if things lined up to the fact that, in the way that we like could just not really have to worry about like the implications of this shit, or at least push it off for another 4 years, you know, and then maybe later we'll think about you know, getting involved and doing activism and shit like that. Like,
yeah, we just gotta get Kamala elected, and then we can spend 4 years giving slightly more and more donations to Vosh and Hassan and Destiny, and everything will be fine. We just need to keep putting our money in our best streamers. That's how we win.
But I mean, like, in related to the quote is like, I mean, like, for me, I'm pretty lazy normally when I'm comfortable and I don't have anything to do, but like I mean I've had situations where my back's against the wall in the sense of like you have fucking $0, motherfucker, or like you're in a job that is like fucking fucked up and you need to like figure out what the fuck you're gonna do and get out of here, or like you're like fucking visa's about to expire and you don't have like a way to deal with this, or a million other things. In me personally, when I'm in that kind of situation, I go from lazy mode to like fucking autistic hyperfixation, just fucking just
you
like,
clench your fists and scream, and you charge up your key blast and achieve Super Saiyan 7.
I'm white knuckling this shit. I am going fucking crazy. I'm when I'm not doing something, when I'm waiting to hear back from something, I'm either researching what to do next or just pacing around fucking thinking about it. But or the other option is lay down and rot. Lay down and rot.
We need to do an episode, because like if, for those who don't know, the phrase "lay down and rot" is like literally a fucking tenet in like a tenet in fucking incel ideology on some of the darker corners of the internet, and we'll definitely explore that. Looking over the quote again and again, I also wanted to talk about, like, I think a lot of people have this brain rot over this, like, they see like winning and losing as this like perfect like dichotomy, and the fact is like, oh, okay, I guess Kamala lost and Trump won, so now it's like, okay, that's his victory is complete and all encompassing, and we lost, and now the loss will be with us for forever, and we just have to accept loss. And it's like, no, it's not that complicated. Like, I'm not going to get into like all the little like headlines and like nuances of the political situation, but like it's not always so clear, because like I see there are some races where like abortion was on the ballot or whatever, and like people voted overwhelmingly to protect abortion, and then a lot of those same people also voted for Trump. So like, okay, maybe it's not as clear and simple as like, well, I guess everybody who voted for Trump is like an evil like monster or something, and they just like have complete control over our lives and everything now. I think, you know, we need to see the world as more complicated than it is, even though it is very comforting to like break things down into much simpler narratives, because like we do have to see the world through narratives. That's just what we like fucking do as slightly too smart apes on this like floating rock or whatever.
For sure. That
was very Joe Rogan of me, but
and that's a really good point too, because it's like, it's weird because all of these like leftists and progressives, and then just like bog standard like liberal Democrat, blue no matter who voter idiots and whatever, these people will all see like people who vote Republican as a monolith of just like, oh, they're like racist, or they're like weird libertarians who would rather see people die than pay an extra like 3% in taxes or something. It's like, no, dude, people have different reasons for voting for Trump. Just like we have a different reason from just like these like gated community DC wonk liberal weirdos for voting blue. Like we do it because it's like, well, it's better than them, I guess. Even I don't feel good about it. Where they're just like, yep, this is how the world should be. And I really liked her stance on gun control. And I think the
guys, the dream of limiting clips to only 18 bullets at once is dead, but we will find a way to strive on.
And I do really like the Hispanic janitor that cleans the office that I'm CEO of. So
until he voted for Trump, now he must be deported immediately.
Yeah, now problematic.
I've seen so much of that on like Twitter recently, and I know, guys, don't be on Twitter, but I was doing research for the show because it's what we're talking about today. That's obviously the only reason I was on there. Don't shut up. But you see a lot of the same liberals who are like, we're the party that cares about minorities and we want a better world for everybody. But now I'm seeing those same people be like, I'm going to report the illegal immigrant neighbors across the street. They voted Trump. They deserve this. I'm going to teach them a lesson or something. Or like these other libs going about like, we need to have a serious conversation about Latinos and Arabs in this country. I'm like, whoa, okay, put down the tiki torch, motherfucker. Calm down. It's not going to be that bad.
So much for the tolerant left.
Oh, this is like so much for the fucking tolerant center or whatever.
It's insane. It's truly insane.
It's like, insane and honestly kind of disgusting.
Yeah, I support women's suffrage until I saw that like white women voted more for Trump, and now I'm like, never mind.
Yeah. I don't know. I think we might go a little bit late today, but we'll see. There was one like last little thing I kind of wanted to end the show on, and I think this might be, I don't know, there's quite a few of these. I thought maybe for the last part of today, we could try to focus on something a little more actionable. I think a lot of people tuning in right now, seeing the title of this episode, whatever it might be, we don't really decide until it's time to upload. I think a lot of people are going to tune into this one and be like, okay, but what do I do? How do I fucking like get through this? And I thought maybe we can bounce some ideas around about like what's helpful and what's not helpful.
All right, as far as actionable things, I mean that's a good question, and I think like that kind of goes along with what I was saying about like being comfortable and being lazy. Is like it would be cool if we could just like check the blue box and then eventually check the even bluer box and just like, all right, well, mommy and daddy will take care of everything, just as I said before. But it doesn't really work like that. And I think this is a wake-up call to a lot of people, is like just being on Twitter for a while and bitching about shit and then going to vote every 4 years. That's not doing anything. And we could see this by the past, like, however long. If you really want to do something, number one, if we're talking about electoral politics, which is only one avenue of this, do you know who is in your city council? Do you even know who your fucking mayor is? Do you know who your senators are?
How many fucking like city council meetings have you ever attended in your life?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I'm guilty of this too. I bitch about education all the time. I should be going to local board of education meetings and just making fun of people.
I'm actually like totally innocent of this because my town is so small enough that we don't actually have like a city hall. So
that makes sense. That makes sense. But I mean,
I guess local action for me would be finding out who's the most important local government person here and like, I guess buying them a beer at the pier or something.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, so that's another thing too. is it doesn't have to just be like politics. Like that's the thing. Like I joined the DSA and I kind of want to just like meet people and like kind of like, you know, create a community or whatever. And it's like the only thing they ever did was like spam my phone about like phone banking. It's like, no, I don't want a phone bank. Like, I'm sorry, man. Like I respect the people who do. I don't want a phone bank. That sounds fucking terrible. Like can't we do something else? And I asked them, I was like, I have these skills. Can I like help maintain your website or something? I was just ignored. And then they're just like, can you help phone bank? I was like, fuck off.
This is a very funny story. Did you ever see, it was like an extended like TikTok or something about the guy who wanted to build a pool in his basement?
No. What?
So there was like a big TikTok thing, and I guess it was either to build like a pool or an aquarium or something. But the point was he wanted to like dig out like a big, you know, hole in his basement, which would normally be like against like city like bylaws or regulations or something. So he filmed like a series of TikToks where he was like, okay, I'm going to disguise it as like an interior like golf putting practice thing or whatever. And not only did he like invite like a building inspector and like a city hall person or whatever over to approve it, but he also had like a big like, oh, my wife just made dinner, oh, do you want a bite? Or, oh, let's go have a beer or something. And he like took these people out to like fucking public events and just like chilled with them for a bit, and then they signed off on all the papers and everything. And it's like, wow, it turns out you can actually get a lot of shit done if you just actually talk to real people. It turns out when you work at fucking politics at the local level, there's not a lot of people, and chances are they don't have a lot of stuff to do. They're gonna be open. You can go to those meetings. You can talk to real people. You can send some emails. You can make some calls. You can sit in. Oftentimes they're like fucking like uncontested races or whatever, and it's like if you can gather like 5 or 6 of your buddies, they can just like vote for you to be in a position of power over stuff that actually goes on in your fucking little small town.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. I mean, a lot of people get into local politics because they just want to like I think like honestly. I mean, some people are like megalomaniacs and they just want to like be able like be a big fish in a small pond or whatever, depending on the size of your city. If you're
I think back to I think it was like I saw a biography or whatever of Jordan Peterson once, and I know he's not as relevant as he used to be.
Yeah,
but it was something about like how even as a kid he was like 7 or 8 years old or something. He was like, I want to be the Prime Minister of Canada. It's like, okay, that's a weird dream for you, buddy. I think you might have a thing about power there.
Yeah, maybe. But I mean, how many kids have said they want to be a president? The thing is, he didn't grow out of that. I guess that's a difference. But
that's true. When I was a kid, I wanted to be a tiger.
Yeah. I mean, shit. I still want to be a tiger. I fucking love tigers.
I feel like that would actually be an improvement over fuck this whole like woman thing. I want to be I don't know if I want to enter my furry arc. Sorry.
We're trans species now. We keep the 5G is just fucking glowing.
That's the next G. That's +1. That'll be 6G.
Yeah. Fauci just turned the dial up another level. What's next?
Yeah, Fauci just sitting in the lab, and somebody's like house cat walks onto the table, and he looks at it and he's like, I know. Either way, actionable advice that does not involve making human-cat hybrids.
Yeah, but I was gonna say the other thing about like local politicians and shit is like besides the insane megalomaniacs, a lot of people they just want like that's their way of developing like a local community. That's their way of connecting with their city or town or whatever. And some people do that. Like I'm thinking I'm boomer mindset right now. Some people do. They have the fucking like whatever, the Lions Club or whatever weird thing,
or they have
or
some
just a
shit
bowling
like
league or some shit like that. It's like
Well, I was going to say some people have little groups like fucking like Moms for America, where they just get like 6 like nasty old women to go to like town hall meetings.
Yeah, so
like,
you made it dark.
I was trying this book.
I was trying to be positive. You made it dark. Yeah, or
okay,
on that note, the Ku
it
Klux
is dark.
Klan local chapter, I guess.
Look, it is dark, but there's only like 5 or 6 of those motherfuckers. Get some of your friends together, sit in the meeting, and ruin their day.
well, see, that's the thing, is that's why I want to like kick myself in the ass, and maybe the bleak state of things will have me actually do that. I do want to go to these like school board meetings, and I want somebody to get up and start like squawking about like, what are you going to do about trans women on the swim team? And it's like, bitch, these motherfuckers can't afford books. You're talking about this? Shut up. Shut the fuck up.
I wonder what the dress code is like. Do you think they would like kick you out of the town hall meeting if you just like show up in like a fursuit or something? How funny would it be to get like a group of like 12 furries all fursuited up and just like talking about like real politics in there?
I see. I would be down with that. I'm not gonna wear a fursuit because I don't want to appropriate anybody's culture. But I think me and 12 furries decked out full fursuit, and then I have like a just some sort of other like really dope outfit on, and it's just kind of like I'm like the commander, and I have an army of furries behind me, and I'm like, go furries go, and they just dismember the entire group of like Moms Against Woke books group that goes there to like screech at
Yeah, let's not kid ourselves. The real reason Dave and I aren't fursuiting is because we don't have $12,000 between us.
Honestly, if I could, if they were free, I'd get a fucking dope ass fursuit. Like I'd be fursuit mogging all these other brokies that go to these cons. Yeah, I'd be rolling up, living large.
Yeah, unfortunately, you are not Violent J's kids, so I don't think that's in the future.
Yeah. One day when the show pops off, we'll sponsor Binz's suit too, and we'll get. We need like a
$12,000 Patreon tier where we'll just get fursuits.
yeah, but it might need to be more, because if I'm getting a fursuit, there's gonna be like fucking rocket engines and that shit. There's gonna be there's going to be servo motors. There's going to be a 50 caliber machine gun mounted on the shoulder.
That doesn't sound like very animalistic, but okay.
Yeah, well, I mean,
I guess there are robot furries as well. So
yeah, I'm not a real animal. Like, what does it matter?
Right. Anyway, I think that's good. I think that sums up get involved in local stuff. I also wanted to say maybe we'll just bang through some of these real quick. Guys, we're always saying get off of Twitter, get off of X.com, the everything app, but like especially like right now and like in the coming months, like if you think it's been bad before, it's going to get so much worse. I don't know how many like people will like very quickly and readily accept like, oh yeah, obviously Elon Musk bought Twitter.com to help like influence like the election and get like his buddies into positions of power and like give him power by extension. And then they'll be like, yeah, but I want to go on Twitter anyway to see like what people are saying about the election. It's like, no, guys, the platform is fucking compromised. Get off of there. It's not worth it. Even like the most like diehard like Twitter holdout people that I follow regularly, a lot of them have left too. Like even when I like pop onto Twitter now to check what's going on, I look at like all the cool people that I used to set notifications for, and I'm getting like 2 or 3 notifications on days when I used to get like 15. Okay, everybody's off the boat. Blue Sky is good now. Get off of Twitter. Go somewhere else. Maybe go outside. I don't know. Just I feel like it needs to be said, if you engage with like really negative bullshit on the internet, it is a form of self-harm. And I know that sounds I know that sounds extreme, because like when you say self-harm, people think of like
it is.
When you say it, people think of like, oh, like drawing blood, slicing up your wrists, doing all sorts of like, I don't know, like drinking yourself into a stupor. That's self-harm too, but like You get nothing by going on these websites. You are just like exposing yourself to things that you know will make your day worse, that you know will put you in like a fucking doomer mindset, and it's not helpful. You need to capture yourself in the moment. You need to find like people and activities and things to occupy your time so that you don't, I don't know, like follow the muscle memory that you have of like clicking on the Twitter button on your phone. In fact, fucking delete the icon. You don't need it.
Yeah, get that out of your shit. And I was gonna say like the same thing. Like I mean, I've always rallied against Twitter, like especially since it's been X.com. But like, yeah, get off that shit. Number one, for you, for your mental health. This is not me saying I don't like Twitter, so don't be on it because it bothers me. Which is true, but I will say the biggest reason is because you are fucking yourself up by being on that site, and I don't want to see you do that. Don't do that. And then also at the same time, which is less important than that, just like you can't be somebody who's like, oh, I'm anti-Elon. The election is stolen and shit. And you're posting on fucking X.com? Fuck you, dude. Fuck off. Are you fucking kidding me? Get off that fucking site. Delete Twitter. Take it off your fucking phone. Take it off your off your browser toolbar and stop going on it. Grow up. Exercise some fucking self-control. This is what you need to do right now if you're really concerned about dire times and like how everything is so fucked up right now and what do we do? Start with that. Start with not just being like, oh, everything sucks, but I better scroll Twitter for 6 hours. Grow up, dude. Grow up.
Not only that, but like no matter how like previously hooked you might have been to social media, you do need to like, I don't know, build up a little bit of discipline and self-control, because I think you'll find that like the more activities you had throughout your day that you just like mindlessly do, like, oh, I guess I'll just open Twitter like reflexively. Oh, I guess I'll just like passively stare at the screen. I guess I'll just like watch this stuff and like think about it for a little bit. All this stuff is like, it's like you were turning your brain off. You need to cut that out. I think even in times when things seem really bad and really dire, the more active choices you make throughout the day, the more you are going to restore this feeling of like having some control over your life. And I think like exercising your fucking agency to make choices and do things is like, it's the antidote, the antidote to fucking dooming and despairing and like giving in to your worst impulses.
No, I agree. And for like an actionable on the actionable, if you have an iPhone, and I'm pretty sure Android has this as well, there are ways to set up like timers on an app where if you're using something for too long, it'll kind of warn you. I mean, like ideally you just get that shit off of there, but I keep for example, I keep Instagram on my phone because some people DM me on there still. But sometimes somebody would DM me and I read the DM and I respond to it, and then I'm already on the app, so I start scrolling through there. And and I have a 5-minute limit on there. And it'll feel like I was scrolling for like 10 seconds. And it's just like, you have 30 seconds left for today.
It's like, almost like these apps were like made in a lab to maximize how much attention they steal.
And if you need to wean yourself off of X that much, that you need to do that, that's fine. But I would say go cold turkey, because that app is not doing anything for you. And I'll say like Instagram, TikTok, there's some funny shit on there. X is irredeemable. There's nothing good on there. There's nothing funny on there. If you use it, fucking stop. If you're posting links to people on there, fucking stop. Just cut it off. Cut it off.
Yeah, it sucks unless you get content out of it for your podcast, in which case 5-minute limit.
Yeah, that's a little bit different. If you're spelunking, I mean, I'll say the same thing about like 4chan or something like that. There's a difference between like just going into the muck just to see what the muck people are doing than just like a citizen going in to just like, you know, consume.
It's like that famous photo of like Hillary Clinton in somebody's fucking kitchen just looking aghast at like what normal people live like.
Exactly.
There was another very important piece of advice, and I really wish that we could get this show out like a little closer to like the election day, but I think people are still gonna be. I think they'll still benefit from this, which is, even if you don't like quit social media entirely, and I'm not gonna say everybody has to like quit all social media completely cold turkey. I know that's very few people can do that, but I'm gonna extend this to like any place you exist, like in public, whether it's like a Discord server or like a college like community like book club or some shit. I don't know what regular people do. I would say my advice is try to severely limit or completely cut out all like big public displays of angst, because there are going to be a lot of people out there who are looking to capture the next like screaming lib on Trump's first inauguration or whatever. The person going like, no, and like you don't want to be that person. Don't do that.
Don't let them see you sweat.
Yeah, don't give ammunition to these people. Don't let them feel like they gotta win. I don't know. Even if you have to lie, like whatever, it's just bullshit them if you have to. And you know, if you really need to like let something off your chest, do it in private. Talk to people you know. Talk to people you trust. Talk to your friends, your families, your neighbors if you're cool with them. Whatever you have to do. I know, like, I don't know, there's probably not going to be a whole ton of people like tuning into this episode for the first time, but you never know. I'm sure that like if we had like a bigger audience or something, there would be some chud like tuning into the show right now, trying to get their like fix of like, I don't know, weird internet tranny breaks down in tears thinking the world is over. No, the world is going to be fine. I'm going to fucking just like thug it out through this. I don't give a shit. Like if you guys came here to see me upset about this, no, I'm only upset about like the DNC being full of like fucking idiots and out of touch like machine people who don't know how to get things done and like hold life in contempt. Like sure, I'm plenty angry, but you know, I'm gonna like thug it out. I'm gonna do something productive. I'm gonna keep making art. I'm gonna keep making the podcast. You know, that's the only option. You just have to live and you have to fight.
Yeah, and that's the thing. This is the last thing I'll say on that is I mean, I'm not going to say that all or even most people who voted for Trump in this election were just like trying to like own the libs or anything like that. But there are a lot of people like for people who are a little bit too terminally online. There are a lot of people who did it just to like, because they're trolling, and trolling is the same as bullying.
Funny.
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny, and trolling is the same as bullying. The only reason these people do it is because number one, they hate themselves, and number two, they want you to feel as bad about yourself as they do about themselves, which is fucking pathetic. So they already feel bad, and don't give them what they want. Don't freak out. Don't have a fucking meltdown. If you go to Thanksgiving with your family in the future, when Uncle Chud is fucking saying stupid shit, don't have a fucking don't make a scene. It doesn't matter. Just laugh in his fucking face, whatever, and just fucking walk away. It's pointless.
When I have to spend time with relatives of mine who are like that, I legitimately just play dumb. They'll ask me like, "Hey, did you hear about this awful thing that happened in the news?" And I'll be like, "No, I don't know. That sounds crazy. Wow." And then I'll just like keep eating dinner.
Yeah. Don't, because they're bored and they're lonely and they fucking suck and they just need somebody to listen to them. Don't give them anything of what they want. Don't give them your emotions, because that's what they want. They want to fucking suck that shit up. Don't give them your fucking time or your energy. Don't worry. Just let them be miserable on their own. Let them just like speak out into the void, because maybe, yeah.
You know they're desperate for this stuff when you still see like characters like Big Red or Trigglypuff or whatever from like fucking like 2014 regularly being used in like right-wing memes. It's all they got.
It's still the same joke because they're just riding that high from like 6 years ago. That's all that gets their dick hard anymore, because they're just like broken, empty shells of people. They have no joie de vivre. They have no hobbies. They have no friends. They might have a family. They might have a fucking wife or a husband or some kids that don't really like them that much, but like whatever. But like just let them.
We spend all this time on the show talking about like incels and like Roman statue bust people on Twitter and like anime profile pic like pedophiles or whatever. I'm sorry, do those people think that I'm going to see them as like any less like pathetic and like beneath me because they got a big W like a few days ago? And the answer is no. This doesn't change anything. You guys are still fucking lame as shit. I don't give a shit. I think you people are basically bugs in every way that matters. And if I could step on you like a bug, I absolutely would. But I guess we're all people, so we try to make the civilization thing work.
And most of you are probably like employed or unemployed, and if you are, it's like menially. None of you are fucking millionaires, let alone billionaires. The people that you dick ride because you think it's gonna own the lib, they fucking hate you. They fucking hate you. And now you're just doubly fucking yourself in the ass. All to what? To get a rise out of some like they thems on Twitter? Like, dude, come
if you took time out of your day to try to own some podcasters, I don't know what to tell you. I think that speaks to how pathetic it is in itself.
Yeah, fucking grow up.
Unless those podcasters are the Pod Save America guys, I think we need to tune into that show sometime just to really rub their nose in the shit. I saw a great post on Bluesky recently. There was something about like, are they going to do it? Or is the pod finally going to save America now? And I don't think they will.
Well, we're yet to see. Maybe they've been building a coalition this whole time, and they're ready to roll out the Autobots.
No, those guys are like literally like Obama speechwriters. They are the wonks that we've been talking about the entire time. Yeah. So,
this concession speech will really turn people around 8 years from now.
Yeah,
this will be on C-SPAN 3.
This speech will make people feel 3% better about our candidate over the course of the next 10 years.
Yeah. We have a data-driven campaign where we just like, it's all tied to our Google Docs. Everything's in the email, guys. We save democracy.
I think I have one last piece of advice, and I know you're going to enjoy this one, and then I think we'll wrap up for today, because this is it's a bit of a long episode, but it's our first one in year 2, so let's make it count. So the last thing I want to end on is, in my notes, I just wrote down, stop listening to stupid assholes. And what do I mean by that? I think I really like the analogy of the media diet, right? Like everything you watch and like consume on the internet, it's basically like eating food, and it's going to affect your health accordingly. And I think I look at a lot of like the online politics sort of people, and I'm like, man, you guys have like completely and like utterly failed us for the last couple of years. And I think people need to stop putting their money into this stuff when they could easily like take all those funds and like put it into into something that matters in, like, I don't know, local politics, or like helping out their friends and loved ones and whatever, and it'll make so much more of a difference. I look at people like I mentioned earlier, like the Voshes and the Destinies and the Hassans and whatever. And I'm like, is this like the best we've got? Is this all we've got to like make a difference in like the most important election in our lifetime? Like guys who like bring on like known terrorists onto their show, or like people that like jerk off to like bestiality and like child porn, but like I guess they dress up in like a fucking twee little suit, and like Vosh is telling people, oh, I think you guys should stop drinking beer. I think it'll be really good for you. Like, shut the fuck up, dude. You don't know what the fuck life is like for the average fucking person. Or like Destiny, who I don't know, like how about I don't know, I think the only race he should be concerned with is I don't know where I was going with this. I think
the race that he's saying slurs about.
I was going to work it into like he should like talk to his fucking son and have like a relationship with him or something like that. I don't know. All these people are fucking losers, and it kind of disgusts me on some level that people give so much money to them. And you know what? Maybe this is a bit of a low blow, but it was a topic of a previous episode. We talked about the whole Vosh sphere, and I talked about the little known streamer Demon Mama in particular. And you know what? I'll be honest. I'm very petty. Sometimes I do still check in to see like, hey, what happened to that whole situation? And it fills me with joy every single day when I see it's been 2 months since this person just like stopped streaming without a single fucking word. I get so much delight in seeing one of these like fucking useless assholes like just get wiped off of the internet, and like their career burns down, because I think that's a couple hundred, if not 1,000 people who are no longer like being like mentally polluted by this like worthless bullshit every single day. And I strongly hope, I don't know, that it comes to the rest of them too. I think we need to put these useless people behind us, and I think we need to, I don't know, find new outlets for our money and our attention and like the people that we give a shit about.
Without question. And I will say this right out of the gate. If you give your money to people like Hassan and Vosh and Destiny, you are a cuck. You are the people that they make fun of. They actively have disdain for you because they know how fucking stupid you are for giving them your money. These people grandstand about fucking Gaza, about politics, about socialism, about whatever. In Destiny's case, not even any of those things. Probably
about just like, the age of consent.
Yeah, exactly. And they take your money and do what with it? What have they donated? What have they used to like make any coalitions? Fucking zero. They sit on it. And then they've put it in their fucking daddy's investment account, or they buy mansions with it in the case of Hassan, and they do nothing. They do nothing. And you're worried about, like, am I going to be able to get HRT? Am I going to be able to afford my medicine? Is my fucking mom or dad or my uncle going to get deported? And they sit there and they're like, oh, that's Trump sucks. But also Kamala's also cringe. Thanks for the $1 million, fucking 19-year-old like who works a minimum wage job. Like, dude, stop with these fucking people.
Thanks so much to Sake Tanuki with the fresh $500 dono to Vosh in Seattle, Washington, to buy another fucking piece of shit looking like Tibetan leather jacket. Oh, that's so cool.
Exactly. What do they do with that money? They buy stupid, fucking ugly, tacky shit because they are fucking lame. They have bad taste, and everything they suck.
Everybody saw the fucking nightstand photo that Elon Musk posted of like the shitty the 1776 like pistol or something, and the shitty cyberpunk gun, and a bunch of like diet cokes or whatever. It's like, wow, look at this stupid fucking asshole. What a waste of money. That's so tacky. And then you give money to these stupid streamers, and they put this stuff on display right behind them.
And right behind them, this fucking corny, stupid bullshit that they spent $1,000 on just to flex in your face. What a fucking moron you are for giving them money.
Not only that, but I really want to rub it in because I know this person is irrelevant, but I really want to savor our victory over this dumb bitch. It fills me with so much glee that fucking Demon Mama's career ended like 2 streams into her like moving into a new house and buying this like expensive like studio setup and having this big display shelf with, oh look, I own all the editions of the Berserk manga. Oh, look at this big expensive Elden Ring statue I bought. Fuck you. I hope you are not paying your bills right now.
Yeah, better get a job. Idiot.
Yeah, better work at Kroger.
But I mean, so that's the thing with all these things. This is the last thing I'll say on this, because we're going pretty late. But for these people, if this is where you get your fucking juice from, this is where you get pissed off about stuff, this is where you get your information from, and these are the communities you turn to, and these are the people who you turn to console you in these trying times or to guide you through this. These people, dudes like fucking Vosh and Hassan and Destiny or whatever, they don't give a fuck about what's going on here. They see politics. This is a game. This is a game for them in the sense that people see like the NFL or the NHL or the
It's
NBA
not even a
as
game. It's content. It's capital C content.
Exactly. This doesn't affect them any more than like a sports pundit like gets affected by their favorite team losing, and they're just they need to trade fucking Michael Johnson, and we're gonna rebuild next year. They don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck because it doesn't affect them because they're a bunch of rich, isolated fucking douchebags.
It fucking boggles my mind when I hear somebody like Vosh go off about like, well, when the Chuds take power, they go after the socialists first. Like, buddy, if you were being hunted down by like an angry mob with pitchforks and torches, I think it's for something else. I think you know what you did to upset those people.
Yeah, for sure. And hey. Yeah, go after him first, I guess.
Yeah, fuck these people. I don't care if it's like, oh, you don't have any real arguments, so you just bring up the pedophile thing. Yes, that should be a deal breaker. Why isn't it a deal breaker for you fucking freaks? That
shit is crazy. But well, yeah, that's a little weird. But I like his content. Fuck you. Fuck off. Just in general, guy. If you have that shit where it's just like, yeah, well, he has like a bunch of CP on his computer, but like he is funny sometimes. Fuck off. This is the laziness we're coming back to. I know it's inconvenient sometimes for something you used to like that you are shown that it sucks and you shouldn't do it. I know. We all just want to be comfortable. We all just want to be locked in. We all just want to like sit there and just have everything be okay. Well, fucking sometimes it's not. So you need to grow the fuck up and realize this shit and then do something about it. Stop just sitting back and just saying, "Whoa, well, I don't know. It's too inconvenient for me to like find another show to watch, so I guess I'll just watch this fucking pedophile." Dude.
I can't believe people say that when there are over 70 hours of Super Despair World ready for you to listen to on YouTube.com.
That's what I'm saying. And neither of us have a tax folder. I haven't done my taxes in fucking 6 years. Fuck that shit.
I will make no statement one way or the other about my taxes. Yeah, I don't know. Fuck these people. And if you still listen to them, please send $6 as reparations straight to our Patreon, and we'll help you get better all the way to the fucking bank.
Yeah. Send money here. We'll eventually make a coalition, and you could join it too.
We'll build a coalition. We'll build better towers. We'll put people in the dresses. And we will make America gay again.
Yeah, build back better. Build back better. That's
there we go. About. There we go.
That's where we meet across the aisle. Build back better and make America gay again. That's it.
It'll be very disco. Anyway, I think we went long. I feel like this is a good place to wrap up the first episode of Super Despair World Year 2. I feel good about it. I think let's not drag things out too much, guys. Check out the fresh new stickers coming out this month. Check out the Patreon. We have so many good shit. Some people say, a lot of people are saying this, the crowd size at our bonus episodes is something to write home about. Let's thank the patrons and get out of here.
Yeah, for sure. All right. So the patrons are, we got Trash Bins, Dimbus, Braid, Zero, Weasel, Nick, Nilly, Hersey, Protagon, Clam, Trevor Stilson, Walker, and Woke Baby. Thank you as always for your continued love and support. And everybody on this list, if you want some stickers, fucking hit me up, Dave at superdespairworld.com. They're going like hotcakes, baby. So get on in there, and we're sending them to you, just like crack dealers give people free crack, so that you can smoke that fucking rock and feel how good it makes you feel. And
then, that first hit, that first hit is free to everyone who's already given us $6.
yeah, exactly. But I think you're gonna like them, and for everyone else, we might release them in a separate venue at some point. But only you guys can carry us across the finish line to get to that point. Let's wrap it up, guys. Don't forget, the only way to load the dice is to keep on fighting. Yep. Keep on rolling, motherfuckers. Thug it out. And good fight. Good night.